Let me tell you something that will disturb you, something you will immediately want to deny. But you cannot deny it because you can test it right now, this very moment. You cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds, not even 30 seconds. Try it. Right now, pick any thought, your name, your mother's face, the word love, anything, and try to stay with it for just 60 seconds. Do not let your mind wander. Do not let another thought come in. Just one thought for 60 seconds. You cannot do it. I am not guessing. I am telling you a fact. And the reason I know this is because Gurdjieff, one of the greatest masters of the 20th century, used to give this experiment to everyone who came to him wanting to become a disciple. He would give them his own pocket watch and tell them, keep this in front of you. Watch the second hand move. Choose any word, even your own name, and try to keep that word in your mind for 1 full minute. Just tell me how long you can hold it. Do you know what happened? Most people could not hold one thought for more than 15 seconds. Some managed 20 seconds. A very few, maybe 30 seconds. But not one person could hold a single thought for a full minute. Not one. And this is the mind you trust. This is the mind you think you control. This is the mind you believe is yours. But it is not yours. It does not listen to you. It does not obey you. You cannot even make it stay with one simple thought for 60 seconds. And yet you think you are in control of your life. You think you are making conscious decisions. You think you know what you want. But how can you know what you want when your mind changes every 30 seconds? How can you make a real commitment when your mind cannot stay committed to one thought for even 1 minute? How can you transform yourself when your attention span is shorter than a child's? This is what I want to talk to you about today. Not to make you feel bad, not to discourage you, but to wake you up, to show you the reality of the situation. Because unless you see the problem clearly, you cannot solve it. Unless you see how unstable your mind is, you will keep making the same mistake. You will keep thinking that you are ready, that you are committed, that you will follow through. But you are not ready. Your commitment is superficial and you will not follow through because your mind will change. In 30 seconds, in 60 seconds, in 5 minutes, it will change and you will forget what you wanted, what you promised, what you decided. Let me tell you about a man I once knew, a professor. His name was Chatterjee. He lived next door to me when I was young. And this man, almost every week, would announce that he was going to commit suicide. He would fight with his wife, and in anger, he would say, "That's it. I'm going to kill myself. I cannot live like this anymore." One night, it was around 1 in the morning, I heard them fighting again. The fighting was so loud, so intense, that I could not sleep. I thought there would be blood. And then I heard the professor say, in English, "I'm going to commit suicide." I thought, finally, he is serious. So I came out of my house to stop him, to talk to him, to prevent him from doing something foolish. But by the time I came out, he was already walking away. I asked his wife, who had not even come out to say goodbye, what should I do? Should I call the police? Should I go after him? And she said, do you see his umbrella? It is still here. Without his umbrella, he cannot go anywhere. He will come back. The moment he remembers the umbrella, he will come back. I was shocked. I said, but suicide is a serious matter. Who cares about an umbrella? She said, you just wait. Sit down. I will make coffee for you. He will be back in 15 minutes. And do you know what? 15 minutes later, he came back, banging on the door. Where is my umbrella? I said, what happened to the suicide? He said, what happened? I forgot my umbrella. How can I go without my umbrella? It might rain. It was the middle of the night. There was no rain. There were no clouds. But he needed his umbrella. So he came back, and the suicide was forgotten. In 15 minutes, his mind changed from I will kill myself to where is my umbrella? In 15 minutes. The next morning, I reminded him, you said you were going to commit suicide last night. The sun has risen. You are still here. Should you not go now and find the right place? He said, I was going to go. But when I opened the umbrella this morning, I noticed it is not repaired. And I have been telling my wife for weeks that she should get my umbrella repaired. How can I commit suicide with a broken umbrella? What if it rains? I could not believe what I was hearing. He wanted to commit suicide, but his umbrella was not repaired. So the suicide had to wait until the umbrella was fixed. Do you see? This is the mind. This is how unstable it is. He was ready to kill himself, but his mind changed because of an umbrella. In 15 minutes, and this was not the end. A few days later, in the afternoon, I heard him again. I am going to commit suicide. I cannot take this anymore. This time, I came out just to say goodbye. I was not worried anymore. I knew this was his routine. But when I saw him, he was carrying a tiffin, a lunchbox. I said, why are you carrying a tiffin? He said, you know these Indian railway trains. Sometimes they are 10 hours late, 12 hours late, and I cannot tolerate hunger. So I will lie down on the railway track and wait for the train. And if the train is late, I will eat my lunch. I have brought sweets also, Bengali sweets, my favorite. I said, you are a clever man. Anyone looking at you would think you are going on a picnic. And when he left, his wife came out and said, he will be back soon. This idiot, whenever he wants to go on a picnic, he says he is going to commit suicide because he is too much of a miser to spend money on taking me with him. And she was right. I went to the railway station. It was not far. And there he was, sitting on the platform. eating his Bengali sweets, enjoying himself. The train came and went. He did not even look at it. He was too busy eating. I said, Chatterjee, the train is here. If you want to commit suicide, this is your chance. He said, No, today I have missed it. And this train only comes once in 24 hours. I will come back tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Because by the next day, his mind had changed again. The suicide was forgotten. The anger was gone. And he was back to his normal life until the next fight and the next announcement. I am going to commit suicide. This is the mind. This is what you are dealing with. A mind that cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds. A mind that changes every few minutes. A mind that says one thing and does another. A mind that makes commitments and breaks them. A mind that wants something desperately one moment and forgets about it the next. And this is the mind you think you can use to transform yourself. This is the mind you think you can use to become enlightened. This is the mind you think will help you change your life. But it will not, because it cannot, because it is not stable enough. It is not consistent enough. It is not strong enough. Now, you might say, but I am different. I am not like this professor. I am more serious. I am more committed. But have you tested it? Have you actually sat down with a watch and tried to hold one thought for 60 seconds? If you have not tried it, then you do not know. You are just assuming. You are just believing. But belief is not knowing. Belief is just another thought. And it will change in 30 seconds, in 60 seconds, in 5 minutes. Let me tell you what is happening. When you come to a master, when you feel inspired, when you feel that yes, now I am ready to change, what is happening? Your mind is having an emotional moment, a sentimental moment, a temporary moment. It is excited, it is enthusiastic, it is full of energy. And in that moment, you think, this is it. This is the turning point. I will become a disciple. I will follow the path. I will transform myself. But this is not coming from your depth. This is coming from your mind. And the mind is never stable. It is continuously changing. You cannot stay with the mind even for 30 seconds on one thought. How can you stay with a decision for 30 days? For 30 months? For 30 years? This is why so many people come to a master and then leave. They come with great enthusiasm. They take initiation. They become disciples. But within a few weeks, a few months, maybe a year, they are gone. Why? Because the moment has passed. The enthusiasm has faded. The mind has changed. And now they are interested in something else. A new teacher, a new technique, a new path. Or maybe they are not interested in spirituality at all anymore. Maybe now they are interested in making money, or finding a relationship, or traveling the world. The mind is in constant flux. It never stays the same. And if you do not understand this, if you do not see this clearly, you will waste your whole life. You will keep starting things and not finishing them. You will keep making promises and breaking them. You will keep saying, I will change, and never changing, because your commitment is not real. It is just a thought, and thoughts change every 30 seconds. So what is the solution? Should you just give up? Should you accept that you are unstable and do nothing? No. The solution is not to give up. The solution is to go deeper, to find something that is not mind, something that is stable, something that does not change every 30 seconds. That something is called awareness, or consciousness, or presence. It has many names, but the essence is the same. It is that part of you that watches the mind, that observes the thoughts, that sees the mind changing but does not change itself. This is your real nature. This is who you really are. Not the mind, not the thoughts, not the emotions, but the awareness behind all of it. And when you connect with this awareness, when you start living from this awareness instead of from the mind, everything changes. Because awareness is stable. Awareness does not change. Awareness does not forget. Awareness does not make commitments and break them. Awareness simply is always present, always here, always now. But how do you connect with this awareness? How do you move from mind to awareness? This is the work, this is the path. And it begins with seeing. Just seeing the mind as it is, not judging it, not trying to control it, not trying to change it, just seeing it, watching it, observing it. And the Gurdjieff experiment I mentioned earlier is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to start seeing the mind. Take a watch, sit quietly, choose one thought, and try to stay with it for 60 seconds. Just watch what happens. Do not judge yourself when the mind wanders. Do not get frustrated. Do not try to force it. Just watch. Just see. Just observe. And you will see that the mind wanders within 10 seconds, within 20 seconds, within 30 seconds. You will see that you cannot control it, that it has a life of its own, that it does whatever it wants. And this seeing, this simple seeing, is the beginning of awareness. Because now you are not identified with the mind. Now you are watching the mind. And the watcher is not the mind. The watcher is something else, something deeper, something more real. This is what I mean when I say you are not ready. I do not mean that you are a bad person. I do not mean that you will never be ready. I mean that right now, in this moment, your commitment is coming from the mind. And the mind is not ready. The mind is never ready. Because the mind is unstable. Because the mind changes. Because the mind cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds. But if you see this, if you really see this, then something can change, not in the mind, but in you, in your awareness, in your consciousness. You can stop trusting the mind. You can stop believing that every thought is true. You can stop identifying with every emotion. And you can start living from a deeper place, a place that is always here, always present, always stable. Now let me tell you something about beyond enlightenment, because this is related. You see, enlightenment is the highest experience. It is the peak of all experiences. It is when you realize your true nature, when you see that you are not the body, not the mind, not the emotions, but pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure being. This is enlightenment, and it is beautiful, it is blissful, it is ecstasy. But there is something beyond even this. Beyond enlightenment, there is nothingness, not the nothingness of death, not the nothingness of emptiness, but the nothingness out of which everything comes, the nothingness into which everything returns, the nothingness that is the source of all existence. Science has discovered something similar. They have found that in space there are black holes, huge stars, bigger than our sun, suddenly disappear. They are pulled into these black holes by a tremendous gravitational force. And once they enter a black hole, they vanish. They cease to exist. Not even light can escape from a black hole. It is the ultimate death, the ultimate disappearance. For a long time, scientists were puzzled. Where do these stars go? What happens to them? And then they realized something. If there are black holes where things disappear, there must also be white holes where things appear, where new stars are born, where existence emerges from nothingness. And this is exactly what happens in the spiritual journey. Enlightenment is like a white hole. It is where you emerge into light, into consciousness, into awareness. But beyond enlightenment, beyond this emergence, there is the black hole, the nothingness, the void, where even the experience of enlightenment disappears, where even the experiencer disappears, where nothing remains. This is what I call beyond enlightenment. And very few people reach this, because to reach this, you have to let go of everything. Even the experience of enlightenment, even the identity of being enlightened, even the joy and the bliss and the ecstasy, you have to let it all go and disappear into nothingness. But I am getting ahead of myself. Most of you are not even at the beginning of the journey. Most of you cannot even hold one thought for 60 seconds. So let us come back to the practical. Let us come back to what you can do right now. First, do the Gurdjieff experiment right now. Put down whatever you are doing. Get a watch or a clock with a second hand. Choose one simple word, maybe your own name, and try to hold it in your mind for 60 seconds. Just watch what happens. Do not judge. Do not fight. Just watch and see how long you can actually stay with one thought. This will show you the reality of your mind. This will show you that you are not in control, that your mind is not your servant, that it does whatever it wants. And this seeing, this clear seeing, is the first step. Because once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you see the instability of the mind, you cannot pretend anymore that you are stable. You cannot pretend anymore that you are ready. You cannot pretend anymore that your commitments are real. And this is good. This is not depressing. This is liberating. Because now you stop wasting your time. Now you stop making false promises. Now you stop deceiving yourself, and now you can start the real work, the work of watching, the work of observing, the work of becoming aware. Second, whenever you make a decision, whenever you make a commitment, pause, ask yourself, is this coming from my mind or from somewhere deeper? Is this just an emotional moment? Is this just enthusiasm? Is this just excitement? Or is there something more solid underneath? Most of the time, you will find that it is just the mind, just a thought, just an emotion. And when you see this, do not make the commitment. Wait. Let the moment pass. Let the emotion settle. Let the excitement fade. And see if the desire is still there. If it is still there after the mind has calmed down, then maybe it is real. Maybe it is coming from a deeper place. Maybe it is coming from your heart, from your being, from your awareness. But if it disappears, if after a few hours or a few days you do not feel it anymore, then you know it was just the mind, just a passing thought, just a temporary mood, and you have saved yourself from making another false commitment, from starting something you will not finish, from deceiving yourself one more time. Third, start cultivating awareness, not through the mind, not through thinking about it, but through simple practices. Sitting silently, watching your breath, watching your thoughts, watching your emotions, not judging, not analyzing, not trying to change anything, just watching, just seeing, just being aware. This is meditation, not a technique, not a method, not a practice you do for 15 minutes and then forget about, but a way of living, a way of being, where you are always watching, always observing, always aware, even while you are working, even while you are talking, even while you are eating or walking or sleeping, always there, always present, always aware. And slowly, gradually, this awareness grows. It becomes stronger, it becomes more stable. And as it grows, your identification with the mind decreases. You stop believing every thought. You stop following every emotion. You stop making commitments from the mind, because now you see the mind clearly. You see how unstable it is, how changeable it is, how unreliable it is. And from this awareness, from this stable place, real transformation becomes possible. Not because you are trying to change, not because you are forcing yourself, not because you are disciplining yourself, but because awareness itself transforms. When you see clearly, things change on their own. When you are aware, the mind loses its power over you. When you are present, old patterns dissolve. This is the real path, not making promises, not committing to things your mind cannot sustain, but becoming aware, watching the mind, seeing it clearly, and slowly, naturally, transformation happens. Not as something you do, but as something that happens when awareness grows. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I have responsibilities. I have to make commitments. I have to plan. I have to decide. I cannot just sit around watching my mind all day. And you are right. You do have responsibilities. You do have to make decisions. But the question is, from where are you making these decisions? From the mind or from awareness? When you make decisions from the mind, they are unstable. They change. You commit today and regret tomorrow. You start something today and quit tomorrow. You say yes today and say no tomorrow. This is the mind, always changing, always uncertain, always unreliable. But when you make decisions from awareness, they are stable, they are clear, they are solid, because awareness does not change. Awareness sees the whole situation. Awareness is not caught up in emotions. Awareness is not swayed by temporary moods. Awareness simply sees what needs to be done and does it. Without drama, without confusion, without regret. So yes, make your decisions. Take your responsibilities seriously. But first, become aware. First, watch the mind. First, see where your commitments are coming from, and only commit when it comes from awareness, from a stable place, from a place that will not change in 60 seconds. Let me tell you about one more thing. About the disciples who stay and the disciples who leave, there is a difference. And it is not about intelligence. It is not about sincerity. It is not about how much you read or how much you know or how spiritual you think you are. The difference is very simple. It is about depth. Some people come to a master from the mind. They are excited. They are enthusiastic. They are full of ideas about enlightenment and transformation and becoming a better person. But this is all happening in the mind, on the surface, in the emotions. And when the excitement fades, when the enthusiasm goes away, when the novelty wears off, they leave. Because there is nothing deeper holding them, nothing more solid, nothing more real. But some people come from the heart, from a deeper place, from a place that is not about excitement or enthusiasm or ideas, from a place that simply knows, that simply feels, that simply recognizes, yes, this is it, this is what I have been looking for, this is my path, this is my master. And when this recognition comes from the heart, from the depth, it does not change, it does not fade, it does not go away when the mind gets bored or distracted or interested in something else. This is the difference. And the master can see this. The master can see from where you are coming, from the mind or from the heart, from the surface or from the depths. And the master knows that those who come from the mind will leave. They always leave. It is just a matter of time. A few weeks, a few months, a year, but they will leave because the mind cannot sustain anything. The mind cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds. How can it hold a commitment for a lifetime? But those who come from the heart, from the depth, they stay. Not because they are better people, not because they are more sincere, but because their decision is coming from a different place, a place that does not change, a place that is stable, a place that is real. So when you come to a master, when you feel drawn to a teaching, when you want to walk a spiritual path, first check, where is this coming from? Is it from the mind? Is it from excitement? Is it from a temporary mood? Or is it from somewhere deeper, from the heart, from the being, from a place that knows without thinking, from a place that sees without analyzing? And if it is from the mind, wait, do not rush, do not make commitments you cannot keep. Let it settle, let it go deeper, let it move from the head to the heart. And only when it reaches the heart, only when it becomes something more than a thought, more than an emotion, more than an idea, only then make your commitment, only then take the step, only then say yes, because that yes will be real, that yes will be stable, that yes will last, not because you are forcing it, not because you are disciplining yourself, but because it is coming from a place that does not change, a place that the mind cannot touch, a place that is beyond the mind. This is what I want you to understand today. You cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds. Your mind is unstable. Your commitments from the mind are unstable. Your decisions from the mind are unstable. Everything from the mind is unstable. This is not a criticism. This is not to make you feel bad. This is just a fact, a simple, observable fact. But there is something in you that is stable, something that does not change, something that is always here. And when you connect with that something, when you start living from that something, everything changes. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, gradually, naturally. Because now you are not trying to change the mind. Now you are not trying to control the mind. Now you are simply watching the mind, and the watching transforms. Do the experiment. Watch your mind. See its instability. See how it changes every few seconds. See how it cannot hold one simple thought for one simple minute. And in this seeing, awareness grows. And when awareness grows, the real transformation becomes possible, not as a goal, not as something you achieve, but as something that happens naturally, effortlessly, spontaneously. This is the path, not of controlling the mind, not of disciplining the mind, not of forcing the mind to change, but of watching the mind, of seeing the mind, of becoming aware of the mind. And in this awareness, in this seeing, in this watching, the mind loses its power, and you discover who you really are. Not the mind, not the thoughts, not the emotions, but the awareness itself, the consciousness itself, the presence itself. And from this place, from this stable place, from this unchanging place, real commitment becomes possible. Real transformation becomes possible. Real life becomes possible. Not as something you do, but as something you are. Let me address something else that might be bothering you. You might be thinking, if the mind is so unstable, if I cannot even trust my own thoughts for 60 seconds, then how do I live? How do I function? How do I make any decisions at all? This is a good question, and the answer is simple. You do not stop living. You do not stop functioning. You do not stop making decisions. But you change the way you relate to all of this. Right now, you are identified with the mind. You think the mind is you. You think every thought that arises is your thought. Every emotion that comes is your emotion. Every desire that appears is your desire. And because you are identified, you are pulled in every direction. One moment you want this, the next moment you want that. One moment you are committed, the next moment you have changed your mind. But when you become aware, when you start watching the mind instead of being the mind, everything changes. Now the thoughts still come. The emotions still arise. The desires still appear. But you are not caught in them. You are not pulled by them. You are not identified with them. You watch them. You see them. You observe them. And from this watching, from this distance, you can choose, not react, not be compelled, but choose. This is freedom, not freedom from the mind, but freedom from identification with the mind. The mind will always be there. It is a useful tool. It helps you navigate the world. It helps you communicate. It helps you plan and organize and function. But it should be your servant, not your master. Right now, it is your master. It controls you. It decides for you. It changes your direction every few seconds, and you follow helplessly. But when awareness grows, the roles reverse. Now you are the master. The mind is the servant. The mind still functions. It still thinks. It still plans. But you are not at its mercy. You use it when you need it, and you put it aside when you do not, like a tool, like a computer. You turn it on when you need to work, and you turn it off when the work is done. This is the natural state of a human being, not to be controlled by the mind, but to use the mind, to be aware, to be conscious, to be present. And from this presence, to live, to act, to respond, not react, not be pulled, not be compelled, but to choose freely, consciously, deliberately. Now let me tell you about intensity, because this is important. I said earlier that real commitment comes from the heart, from depth, not from the mind. But how do you know if something is coming from depth? How do you recognize it? The answer is intensity. When something is coming from the mind, it is mild, it is lukewarm, it is half-hearted. You want it, but not really. You are interested, but not completely. You are committed, but with reservations. You say yes, but in the back of your mind, you are already thinking about the exit, about how you can get out if it does not work, about what you will do if you change your mind. But when something comes from depth, from the heart, from your being, it is intense, it is total, it is absolute. There are no reservations, no exit plans, no backup options. You are all in. 100%. Not because you are forcing yourself, not because you are disciplining yourself, but because the intensity itself leaves no room for doubt, no room for hesitation, no room for half-heartedness. This intensity is rare. Most people never experience it. They live their whole lives in the mind, in lukewarm commitments, in half-hearted attempts. They try this and try that. They start this and start that, but nothing goes deep. Nothing becomes total. Nothing transforms them because they are not willing to be intense. They are not willing to risk everything. They are not willing to say yes with their whole being. And this is why most people do not transform. Not because they are bad people, not because they are not intelligent, not because they are not sincere, but because they are not intense, they are not total, they are not 100%. They are always holding back, always keeping options open, always ready to change their mind. And this holding back, this keeping options open, this readiness to change, this is what prevents transformation. Transformation requires intensity. It requires totality. It requires burning all the bridges. It requires saying yes with no conditions. It requires jumping into the unknown with no safety net. And most people are not willing to do this. They want transformation, but they also want security. They want freedom, but they also want comfort. They want to change, but they also want to stay the same. And you cannot have both. You have to choose. Either you want transformation or you want security. Either you want freedom or you want comfort. You cannot have both. And this is where the Gurdjieff experiment becomes so valuable, because it shows you in a very concrete way that your mind is not intense. Your mind is not total. Your mind cannot even hold one thought for 60 seconds. How can you expect this mind to sustain an intense commitment, to maintain a total dedication, to keep burning with passion day after day, month after month, year after year? You cannot. The mind is not capable of intensity. The mind is capable only of lukewarm, only of half-hearted, only of 30 seconds of attention before it wanders to something else. But awareness, consciousness, presence, this is capable of intensity. This is capable of totality. This is capable of remaining steady, of remaining committed, of remaining passionate, not because it is trying, not because it is forcing itself, but because this is its nature. Awareness is naturally intense, naturally total, naturally 100%. So the work is not to make the mind more intense. The work is to move from mind to awareness, to shift from thinking to being, to drop from the head to the heart. And when this shift happens, intensity happens on its own. You do not have to create it. You do not have to force it. It is simply there as a natural expression of your depth, of your being, of your awareness. Let me tell you one more story. There was a man who came to Buddha and said, I want to become your disciple. Buddha looked at him and said, "Are you sure?" The man said, "Yes, I am sure. I have been thinking about this for months. I have read about you, I have heard about your teachings, and I am convinced I want to follow you." Buddha smiled and said, "Come back tomorrow." The man was confused. He said, "Why tomorrow? I am here now. I am ready now. Why should I come back tomorrow?" Buddha said, "If you are really ready, you will come back tomorrow. If you are not ready, you will not. Come back tomorrow and we will see." The man left. He was a little annoyed. He thought, "What kind of test is this? I said I'm ready. Why does he want me to come back tomorrow?" But the next day, he came back. And Buddha said, "Good, you came back. Now go away and come back after 7 days." Again the man was confused. Again Buddha said, "If you are really ready, you will come back. If you are not, you will not." This went on for several months. Every time the man came, Buddha would send him away and ask him to come back later. After some time, the man stopped coming. His mind had changed. He had lost interest. He had found something else to do. And Buddha told his disciples he was not ready. He was coming from the mind, from enthusiasm, from excitement, but there was no depth, no intensity, no real commitment. So I kept testing him, and eventually his mind changed, as it always does. But there was another man who came to Buddha with the same request, "I want to become your disciple." And Buddha gave him the same test, "Come back tomorrow." And the man came back, "Come back after 7 days." And the man came back, "Come back after 3 months." And the man came back. This went on for 3 years. 3 years of coming and being sent away. 3 years of waiting. 3 years of persistence. And after 3 years, Buddha said, "Now you are ready. Now you can become my disciple. Because your commitment is not from the mind. Your commitment is from somewhere deeper. The mind would have changed long ago. The mind would have given up. The mind would have found something else to do. But you did not give up. You kept coming back. This shows that your commitment is real, that it is coming from the heart, from the depth, from a place that does not change. This is what I mean by intensity. This is what I mean by real commitment. Not the enthusiasm of a moment, not the excitement of an emotion, but the steady, unwavering, persistent dedication that comes from depth, that does not change when the mind changes, that does not fade when the excitement fades, that does not disappear when the novelty wears off. And the question is, do you have this? Have you ever had this? Have you ever experienced this kind of intensity, this kind of totality, this kind of unwavering commitment? Most of you will say no, because you have lived your whole life in the mind, in thoughts, in emotions, in temporary moods, and you have never gone deeper. You have never touched that place in you that is capable of real intensity, but this place exists in everyone. You just have to find it. And the way to find it is through awareness, through watching the mind, through seeing its instability, through recognizing that the mind cannot give you what you are looking for. And through this recognition, through this seeing, awareness grows. And as awareness grows, you start touching your depth, your heart, your being. And from this depth, intensity arises naturally. So do not try to be intense. Do not try to force commitment. Do not try to make yourself passionate. This will not work, because it is still the mind trying. And the mind cannot create intensity. The mind can only create tension, strain, effort, but not intensity. Intensity comes from depth, and depth is accessed through awareness, through watching, through being present. This is the path, simple but not easy, clear but requiring patience, direct but demanding totality. You cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds right now. This shows you where you are. This shows you the state of your mind. And this is good. This is valuable, because now you know, now you see, now you understand. And from this understanding, from this seeing, the real work can begin. Not the work of changing the mind, not the work of controlling the mind, not the work of disciplining the mind, but the work of transcending the mind, of going beyond the mind, of discovering that you are not the mind, that you are awareness, that you are consciousness, that you are presence. And from this discovery, everything transforms, not because you are trying to transform, but because transformation is the natural consequence of awareness. So start today, right now. Do the Gurdjieff experiment. See for yourself. Do not believe me. Do not take my word for it. Test it. Try to hold one thought for 60 seconds and see what happens. See how the mind wanders. See how you cannot control it. See how it has a life of its own. And in this seeing, the journey begins. The journey from mind to awareness, from thinking to being, from surface to depth, from instability to stability, from changing to unchanging. This is the only journey worth taking, not a journey in space, not a journey in time, but a journey inward, a journey to yourself, a journey to discover who you really are, not the thoughts, not the emotions, not the mind, but the awareness that watches all of this, the consciousness that is present through all of this, the being that remains unchanged through all of this. And when you discover this, when you realize this, when you become this, then you will understand what I mean when I say you cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds. It is not a criticism, it is not a judgment. It is simply a pointer, a sign, a teaching, pointing you away from the mind, pointing you toward awareness, pointing you toward your real nature, your true self, your innermost being. Now, let me say something about the distance between you and transformation. between you and enlightenment, between you and your true nature. This distance is not measured in time. It is not measured in space. It is measured in intensity. The more intense you are, the smaller the distance. The more total you are, the closer you are. The more 100% you are, the more immediate the realization. If your intensity is total, if your commitment is absolute, if your dedication is complete, then there is no distance at all. The goal comes to you. You do not have to go to the goal, because in that totality, in that intensity, in that 100% presence, you are already there. You have already arrived, not because you traveled somewhere, but because you dropped everything that was creating the distance. The mind, the thoughts, the doubts, the hesitations, the reservations. But if your intensity is weak, if your commitment is half-hearted, if your dedication is divided, then the distance is immense. You can spend lifetimes and not arrive. You can practice for years and make no progress. You can study 1,000 scriptures and remain ignorant, because the distance is created by your divided attention, by your half-heartedness, by your inability to be total. And the mind, as I have shown you, is always divided, always half-hearted, always unable to be total, even for 60 seconds. This is why people who rely on the mind never transform. They are always trying, always practicing, always hoping, but never arriving, because the mind keeps them at a distance. The mind creates the gap. The mind is the problem. But awareness is total. Awareness is complete. Awareness is 100%. When you are aware, you are not divided. You are not distracted. You are not pulled in different directions. You are simply here, fully, completely, totally. And in this totality, the distance disappears. The gap closes. And suddenly, you realize, not as something you achieve, but as something you recognize. You were always there. You were always home. You were always enlightened. You just did not see it, because the mind was creating noise, creating distraction, creating distance. Let me tell you about beyond enlightenment again, because this is important to understand. Enlightenment is when you realize you are not the mind, you are not the body, you are not the emotions, you are pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure being. This realization is ecstatic, it is blissful, it is liberating. You feel free, you feel light, you feel infinite. This is enlightenment. But even this experience, even this realization is still an experience. There is still an experiencer. There is still someone who is experiencing enlightenment. There is still a subject and an object. I am aware of my consciousness. I am experiencing my being. There is still a subtle duality. Beyond enlightenment, even this duality disappears. Even the experiencer disappears. Even the sense of I am enlightened disappears. What remains is pure nothingness, not the nothingness of emptiness, not the nothingness of death, but the nothingness out of which everything arises, the nothingness into which everything returns, the nothingness that is the source and the end of all existence. This nothingness is not something you can experience, because for experience, you need an experiencer. But in this nothingness, there is no experiencer. There is no one left to experience. The drop has disappeared into the ocean. The wave has merged back into the sea. The individual has dissolved into the universal, and what remains cannot be described, cannot be explained, cannot be experienced. It simply is. Very few reach this state, because to reach it, you have to let go of everything, even the joy of enlightenment, even the bliss of realization, even the identity of being awakened. You have to be willing to disappear completely, to become nothing, to dissolve into the void. And this requires tremendous courage, tremendous trust, tremendous surrender. Most people stop at enlightenment. They enjoy the bliss. They bask in the light. They celebrate their realization. And there is nothing wrong with this. Enlightenment is beautiful. It is more than most people ever experience. But for those who are truly fearless, for those who are absolutely intense, there is something beyond a final dissolution, a complete disappearance, emerging into the infinite nothingness. But I am telling you this not to confuse you, not to make you think you need to worry about what is beyond enlightenment. You cannot even hold one thought for 60 seconds. You are not even at the beginning of the journey, so do not worry about the end. Do not worry about beyond enlightenment. Worry about now, about this moment, about becoming aware right now. The journey begins with a single step, and that step is awareness, watching the mind, seeing its instability, recognizing its limitations. And from this recognition, slowly, gradually, awareness grows. And as awareness grows, you move from mind to consciousness, from surface to depth, from thinking to being. And this movement is the spiritual journey. This movement is transformation. This movement is enlightenment. And if you are truly blessed, if you are truly fearless, this movement continues even beyond enlightenment, into the final nothingness, into the ultimate dissolution, into the absolute. But this is rare, very rare. Most people never even begin. They live their whole lives in the mind, in thoughts, in emotions, in the surface. They never touch their depth. They never discover awareness. They never experience transformation. They die as they lived. Asleep, unconscious, unaware. Do not let this be you. Do not waste this precious life. Do not spend your days lost in the mind, in thoughts, in worries, in plans, in regrets. Wake up, become aware, watch the mind, see its instability, and from this seeing, let awareness grow. Let consciousness deepen. Let presence become your natural state. This is the only thing worth doing. Everything else is just passing time, just killing time, just waiting for death. But if you wake up, if you become aware, if you discover your true nature, then life becomes a celebration, death becomes a door, and existence becomes a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. So do the experiment right now. As soon as you can, take a watch, choose one thought and try to hold it for 60 seconds. Just watch what happens. Do not judge yourself. Do not get frustrated. Do not try to force it. Just watch, just see, just observe. And in this simple observation, the journey begins. The journey from mind to awareness, from ignorance to enlightenment, from suffering to bliss, from bondage to freedom. This is my invitation to you, not to believe me, not to follow me, not to worship me, but to experiment, to test, to see for yourself. Because the truth is not in my words, the truth is in your own seeing, in your own awareness, in your own consciousness. And when you see, when you become aware, when you touch your consciousness, then you will know, not as belief, not as knowledge, but as direct experience, as living reality, as your own truth. You cannot hold one thought for 60 seconds. This is where you are. This is the state of your mind. And this is perfect, because now you know, now you see, now you understand. And from this understanding, the real journey begins.